this is Mayor Chad Frank. Last Friday, in my 2 minutes with the mayor, we said we would have an update from Gertrud Whitaker for our businesses and employees for resources that they might have to reach out so they can help protect themselves during this epidemic of the COVID-19 virus. With me is Gertrude. We are doing a Zoom conference, and so she is going to take over and she's going to explain the resources that she has available for everyone. So, Gertrude, thank you for being with us, and I will turn it over to her now.
All right. Thank you, Mayor Frank, and I appreciate you inviting me to join your program so that we can focus on giving some updates specifically for our Fayette County businesses. I know that to our listeners here on TV3, there's a lot of information that's going around and probably an overload of information you're hearing from your radios, from your television stations, from online news sources. So the intent of why I'm here today as the director of the Fayette County Chamber of Commerce is to provide an update to the community as a whole and to those small businesses that maybe are not part of the chamber and have not received the updates that we've been providing. I do want to state that even though our chamber, we're a business association with members, that during this whole COVID-19 coronavirus epidemic, we have blurred that line of membership and we have disseminated through our emails and our Facebook, social media information to as many of our Fayette County businesses, whether or not they're members. This is really a tough economic time, and the business of the chamber is to make sure that we as a community are successful and that we can get through this together. So we want to be a prime resource to try to provide as much information as possible. First of all, Mayor, what I want to just give an update on is about the finances. What helps, loans, and grants are available for businesses? I'm just going to give a brief overview right now that on March 27th, after the full House and also the President signed into law what's called the CARES Act. This is a $2.2 trillion piece of legislation. It's a stimulus bill to help pump money into the economy through several ways. What will this money do? First of all, it will speed government payments of $1,200 to most Americans. It will increase jobless benefits for those who have been unemployed or laid off because of this coronavirus outbreak. It will support businesses. Big and small businesses will get loans, grants, and tax breaks. And it will send an unprecedented billions of dollars to state governments to help with this. The key elements of this whole stimulus bill really are untested. It's never been done before, such as grants to small businesses to keep workers on the payroll and complex lending programs to larger businesses. Now, there are federal agencies like the Small Business Administration and state unemployment offices, and their systems right now are being severely taxed because while our legislators and the president signed this stimulus bill into law, the real work is always on the regulatory side. How do we take a law and put it into practice? And that's where I'm not going to kid you, there are some problems with that, but we're certainly trying to provide information as our regulators through the SBA and on the state level are working through this. The first thing for our Fayette County businesses, and this is overall as part of this stimulus plan, there are several packages under the CARES Act. The first that most people are talking about right now is what's called the Payroll Protection Plan. It's also known as the PPP. Now, don't get that confused when you hear on the news with hospitals and with other healthcare givers talking about PPEs. That refers to personal protection equipment. What I'm referring to is specifically the Payroll Protection Program, which is a loan under the CARES Act that was passed. What this is, this loan can be applied for by businesses, specifically as the name says, to help with saving the jobs and keeping your employees on payroll up to an 8-week period. The chamber, we've sent out last Thursday a pretty comprehensive list about what this personal protection plan will help you do. And it's got to be focused on those kind of services specifically for, and I'm going to go over that list, for payroll costs such as salaries, wages if your employees get cash tips, payment for family, medical, and sick leave, and for group health benefits and retirement benefits. There's a few other things, but the SBA.gov website really gives a whole clear, concise listing of that. There's also some outside resources I would recommend that our viewers check, such as the taxfoundation.org. These are outside think tanks that are reputable, that you can actually look at the bullet points of what these programs help businesses with so that you can better understand how to appropriately apply it. Now, how do I apply as a business or even as a nonprofit? Any nonprofit organization that is a 501c3 is also eligible to apply for the Payroll Protection Program loan. You can also be an independent contractor or a sole proprietor. Now, this is something that these groups have never before been eligible for SBA loans. So this is kind of off the chart and trying to help bring stimulus back into the economy, and specifically for small businesses that are struggling. In order to apply for the SBA loan, you have to go through a commercial lender that is classified under the SBA loan guidance as a Section 7A commercial bank. In our newsletter out to our business community, the Chamber listed the 5 banks in Fayette County that are considered SBA approved lenders. And I'm going to real quick just go to that list and read off what those local banks are. Fifth Third Bank on West 5th Street, First Financial Bank on Central Avenue, First Merchants Bank, also on Central Avenue, FCN Bank, located on 3rd Street, and then US Bank, located on 30th Street. Now, these banks are closed for the most part in terms of their in-person services. You can actually call them. Their drive-throughs are open, of course, for those services. But for this program, what we didn't know last Thursday when this important information was sent out to our businesses is that Steve Mnuchin from the Treasury said from the very beginning when this bill was passed, this PPP plan was going to roll out on Friday, April 3rd. So that's what we reported. And as we contacted our local banks, these 5 Fayette County banks said that they were going to participate in the program, with a few of them saying they would even help customers or individual businesses who were not customers. As of Thursday night to Friday, the whole banking industry said, look, there is no way that we can actually provide support through the guidelines that the SBA set up with their application. We're going to have our customers and our businesses apply directly through our banking online systems. So what's happening is, since last Friday, you now have to have an actual account with one of these SBA approved banks in order to apply for the Payroll Protection Plan loan. And that's causing some problems, because I know there are businesses within our community that may have banking accounts with banks that are not SBA approved lenders. Some of our banks will help those customers, but what I'm understanding is that they're going to first take care of their current banking customers before they bring on their non-customers. The concern that I have for our local businesses is this funding is first come, first serve. And when the money's gone, it's gone. I do want to say, I'm talking about this payroll protection loan program as if it's a loan, but as long as it's used under the guidelines for keeping your staff and your employees on and paying for those bullet points that I talked to you about and that are listed on the SBA.gov site, then that will be a forgivable loan to your business. Now, that's the one part of the CARES Act. There's another part of the CARES Act called the Economic Injury Disaster Loans. The first part of that is an advance that when you go on directly to the SBA.gov website, and unlike the Payroll Protection Plan, where you have to go through a commercial lender that's approved by the SBA to apply, on this particular EIDL grant or loan, you have to go directly to the SBA.gov website. I went through that and I explored what all those points are. You need to make sure that when you're ready to apply for that, that you of course have as far as your date of when your business started, your EIN or TIN number as an employer. There's just some very basic things about your business that the SBA needs to know in order to get you into the system. Now, they said that when you apply for this advance under the economic injury disaster loan, that you would get a response within 3 days. That's not happening. We have some of our businesses that have been staying in touch with me that have actually applied for this advance, that have said, I applied immediately when this rolled out. I got my confirmation number, but as they go to their online banking, because that money will be directly deposited into your business bank account, so your routing number and account number is necessary as you go through that application. They have not yet received any of that stimulus funding. So there's an overwhelming amount of Americans that are applying for this support from our business community, and it's just taking time for that to come through. But get the application in, get into the queue, get your confirmation number, and know that that is being worked through. And you will, at some point, if you're approved, receive that. Now, that first $10,000, that is considered a forgivable loan. They call that an emergency advance. There are, as well, as far as uses for that, if you're getting the PPP loan, you cannot duplicate the use of your payroll protection plan funds for the same things that you use this SBA loan or advance on. That's not allowed. You have to use that for different purposes. The payroll protection plan needs to be used for just that, protecting your payroll and keeping your employees on. The SBA advance really needs to go for things like utilities, rents, paying your accounts payable, and those other kind of fixed debts. The other part of the CARES Pack is what's called the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. This itself is an actual loan through the Small Business Administration backed by the U.S. Treasury. Businesses can apply for this loan. For a for-profit business, the terms of payback are 3.75%. And nonprofits also, for the first time, are eligible now to apply for this EIDL loan at a payback rate of 2.5%. And let me just check my numbers to make sure I'm giving correct information. No, I'm sorry. It's 3.75 for profits, and it's 2.75 on the payback for the loan for nonprofits. Now, I do want to clarify that if you're applying for this economic injury disaster loan, even if you get the $10,000 advance, which is a forgivable loan, and you still get approved for getting a EIDL long-term loan, you don't have to accept the loan. So I'd encourage you to go ahead and apply for the loan, but just because you're approved doesn't mean you have to take it. That's just a resource at really good rates over a 30-year payback period for a business to get some cash into their coffers for payroll, for other expenses that they need. I do want to clarify at this point that we have a great partner with Eastern Indiana Works. Mike Rao, who oversees Eastern Indiana Works, which is part of the Strategic Alliance Group, they are doing a great job for those employees who've had to be laid off during this time and have to claim unemployment insurance. We have been through our Facebook. They have a great, what's called a telecoach system. People have to apply online for uninsurance benefits. So look at the Chamber Facebook page, get that information that's posted about their telecoaching on how to apply for that. I do want to also announce that Eastern Indiana Works is going to have a public Facebook webinar on April 8th, and I believe that is tomorrow. I honestly have to say I'm losing track of dates with everything that's going on. I'm going to push out onto our chamber website as soon as this session is over, Mayor, with you, exactly the details of this. I know that our membership have already received emails about this, but we're going to make sure the public knows about this so they can get as much information as possible in contacting Eastern Indiana Works for those uninsurance benefits. I know that was a lot of information that I provided, but there's a lot more details on the program that I talked about with the CARES Act under the SBA.gov website. And Mayor, I'm going to ask, are there any specific questions related to Fayette County that you want to ask that we can talk about to help inform our community?
Yeah, let's start with the employee side first. Go ahead and give your website address so people can get on there and see when that Eastern Indiana Works webinar
Mhm.
is, because I get a lot of the questions from employees, and this would be a huge help to them.
Good. And I think this is going to come at a real timely period. The chamber website is FayetteINChamber.com. That'll get you to our website. And on our homepage on the top, we've been trying to keep updated information about essential services that are still operating in Fayette County, what some of the stay-at-home orders are about, and just important links regarding the CARES Act as well. And so we'll make sure that the webinar with Eastern Indiana Works is posted as well. The Chamber also has a very active Facebook page. And if you go to your Facebook search bar and you simply type in Fayette County Chamber of Commerce, Connersville, Indiana, it'll take you right to our page. You'll be able to scroll down in the posts and you'll see a lot of updated information. We include also important partner information with some of our local health providers. For example, Reed Health is a major provider here in this Eastern Indiana side of Fayette County, Wayne County, and the services that they're giving. They provide online medical help for people that think, I may have the coronavirus, I'm not feeling well. You can go online and provide service to them. Reed Health also just announced that as of today, their urgent care center, which is part of their medical center on Route 44 on the east side of town, they're opening up a separate wing as a second respiratory clinic. So that's going to be critical in terms of the services here for our community.
Yes. So if you're an employee and you can get on the Eastern Indiana Works website, or if you want to get on the Fayette County Chamber website to find information about resources available for you, there will
Mhm.
be links to that on the Chamber's website, or you can go to Eastern Indiana Works website to find out resources available for you. I did see in the news yesterday on Monday alone, I believe the number was 54 billion went out in these small business loans already just in one day.
Mhm.
So they are overwhelmed.
Mhm.
People are seeking for help. So that's why when they said 3 days, why it's taking longer. 54 billion in one day was a lot of
Yes.
money that came through. So and like Gertrude said, it is limited amount. So if you need it or you want, even if you don't know, we don't know how long this is going to last.
Mhm.
Go ahead and apply. Even if you don't need it, you don't have to take it. So very good resources. Again, that's Fifth Third Bank, First Financial, First Merchants, FCN Bank, and US Bank. Is that correct, Gertrude?
That is correct. Yes.
So get there as quick as you can. At least start the process. And if you use another bank, just it's going to be hard, but go ahead and get it in line for the process. Is all we
Yeah.
would recommend. Correct?
Correct. And for example, I talked with Jamie Vaughn at US Bank. They have a specific business banking specialist by the name of Kelly Ann Neff. And now, granted, they're taking care of their current customers first, but that's one of a couple banks that are part of Fayette County's lending system that have said, look, we will take care of non-customers, but in this situation, they just need to get in the queue and they'll be lined up after their banking customers are taken care of.
Okay. Um, you can also get on to Senator Mike Braun's website. He's
Mhm.
got some resources available as well. I like we connected all of his information to our Facebook page, and did we put it on our city page, John? All of Mike Braun. So there's the good thing is there's links you can click on. There's a question and there'll be an answer. You can click on the link and it'll take you right to the resource you need.
Mhm.
So those are some good resources as well for businesses and employees. Again, it's changing. Everything that is happening is changing quickly,
Yeah. Mhm.
especially on our end with the all the executive orders coming down, and then we think we got it figured out, and then it changes the next day. We're
Yeah.
in uncertain times, and I know it's for our businesses and our employees. It is very uncertain time. So just do your research, get involved with the process. Even if you don't need it, I'd recommend going ahead and doing it. And it'll help ease some of the tension because we don't know how long this is going to last. I know we keep hearing dates and projections, but we don't know.
Mhm.
So do your due diligence. Take advantage of everything that's out there to help you is what I would recommend. So
Mhm.
Gertrude, I would thank you. I thank you for your time. I thank you for the work you're putting into this. Understanding all this information takes a lot of reading and just a lot of time. So
Mhm.
thank you for everything you're doing. If anyone needs anything, you can reach out to Gertrude. You can reach out to my office,
Mhm.
and
Can I
we'll share
provide,
everything we
Mayor,
can.
my email address? And
Yes.
certainly the chamber office, while we're physically closed because we do rent a space within City Hall and that building is closed to the public, the chamber is still operating. The best way is to either email me at my first name, Gertrude, Gertrud, at FayetteINChamber.com. Or you can call the office at 765-825-2561 and leave a voice message. I am checking those messages remotely throughout the business day and give me 24 hours to get back to you. But if this is a question that's pertinent to our local businesses or something related to a business assistance, then I'll certainly do my best to try to help answer that question and steer you in the right direction.
Okay. Thank you. So um, I would recommend you take that advice and go to the banks. Start your process. If you have any questions, call Gertrude. She's fantastic. She's doing a great job. So thank you, Gertrude.
Thank you,
And
Mayor.
I'd just like to thank everyone for paying attention. Thank you.
All
Have
right,
a wonderful
goodbye.
day.